Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of A Slice of Culture, where we learn about our creators, how and why they think the way that they do. In our first episode, we have our beautiful Jerique, who's going to let us know a little bit about why, she moves the way that she moves. So how are you guys, Jerique?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. So why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Jerique and I'm a filmmaker who's currently working in the advertising industry. I've created a few short films from university and outside of university. A couple of international short films, went for festivals overseas, and yeah, that's...
So what have you created from the international space? Because obviously we have a bit of a difference between the work that you make in South Africa and the work that you make internationally. Let us know how the difference was, how it made you feel.
Okay, so okay, let me start with a Korean short that I made. I was producing remotely, but it was shot in South Korea, and it was a comedy film, but actually it's not that much different from working here in South Africa. I think filmmakers around the world just kind of understand each other, and we all know the type of person you have to be in the film industry. So yeah, I haven't dealt with anyone that's completely different from a South African in that industry. So yeah.
Let me ask this question: why do you create film? Like, what's your reason for why you create?
Why do I create film? Well, I guess because it's a dream. It's what I'm passionate about. I know that's such a cliche answer, but yeah, it's just something that I've dreamt of doing since high school. Not a little girl, just since high school, and I've always wanted to bring my imagination to life. But when I got to university, I realized that film can be used to make a social impact. And that's what made me fall in love with it even more.
Do you feel like any of the works that you've created thus far have created a social impact on anyone?
Yes, so the film that got chosen for the festivals overseas, it was created in university, and basically it's about a colored girl, starting to embrace her natural hair. So instead of following Eurocentric ideals, it breaks through that and it encourages women, especially African women, to embrace their natural hair. And yeah, it resonated with a lot of people overseas as well.
Yeah, I do hear about that a lot, because I feel like our experiences as South African women, obviously I can only speak as a South African woman, we have so many problems with how we should perceive our hair, especially in high school. I went to a private school in Hartbees, so
Private.
private. Like the teachers were very strict about the fact that your hair was puffy. If your afro was too big, you have to fix it and trim it down, or you have to straighten it, or you have to do your braids. There was a point where even they brought a hair salon lady.
Oh.
And she came, and all of us were there, all the blacks or the whites or the browns, all of us were there. But that lady was speaking to us.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, you guys need to tame down your hair. You need to do braids, especially condos. And we're like, okay, but what about henna? Henna can do braids. Henna's gonna look weird with braids. And it was such an experience that changed my perception as to how I understand how I'm perceived. And it did make me lose a lot of my confidence in my own hair. So I always did braids. I always straightened it. I always did things that I didn't think it deserved. Yeah, so yeah, it's a tough life.
Even with me, like with Indians, a lot of the time, especially when you have curly hair, we're told to straighten your hair, iron your hair, you know, otherwise you're looking like a bush baby. So, yeah, I think it's a very relevant topic. But I feel like now we're moving closer to embracing curly hair. You know, everybody wants curly hair and stuff. So I think there is a switch, but yeah, it's important to know that curly hair girls weren't always at the top.
The fact that we're here,
Yeah.
got some tears in my eyes, and I'm a little bit happy that we're growing as a society.
Yes.
Because finally,
Yes,
we've been waiting for this moment. We've been waiting for this moment. So obviously that was your reasoning for making your work during high school. So what are you making now?
Now, okay, well, I'm working on a documentary, and it's on colorism. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of South Africans know about colorism, especially within our racial spaces. But my documentary will be from the Indian woman perspective.
Of course. Why? If I mean, aside from the fact that you're Indian, I just want to understand a bit more on the colorism you're talking about.
Okay. Well, I guess it stems from my own experiences. You know, growing up as a dark-skinned girl, a lot of the time you're hearing, "Oh, that girl is so beautiful and fair," or "Look at that boy, he's so fair. It's so sad that this and this happened to him because he's fair." And yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's the first thing a lot of the older generation, it's the first thing that they'd look at when something bad happens to a child. Like, I hear it a lot. And yeah, and even when a baby is born and it's a fair little girl, the aunties will be like, "Oh, look at her, she's so beautiful and fair." And now I'm standing there with my dark skin as a little girl, and hearing that is just, you know, it's not the best. So yeah, I just want to try and shed light on that situation.
Of course. Let me just ask a little bit on that. Do you feel like you weren't, how can I ask, appreciated as much because of your skin, or like you weren't noticed as much because of your skin?
My family wasn't like that, but a lot of extended family, or especially it's mostly older ladies. It's not that. Yeah, actually, now that when you ask me that, it's like I wouldn't be first option for things. I wouldn't be like praised, basically, because I'm a darker skin tone. Yeah, even though I'm excelling in academics, or you know, I'm treating someone's son right, I'm not fair enough, so I'm not good enough for him.
So what are you hoping that this documentary will do for other people, for the future? What are you hoping this will change in the film industry, or even just in general?
I'm hoping that it would change people's attitude towards skin color and the way people speak, especially around children. I think that's the main thing, just making people aware of their language and what they say around kids regarding skin color, because that's where the problem starts, because then they grow up believing that, oh, they need to be fairer and stuff, and that's the beliefs that are implemented again and again. So
I do hope that we do end up changing and we will be more aware, but I do feel that in as much as we're educating who we can educate, the people who are mostly doing it will never understand. You understand what I mean? I feel like a lot of our grandmothers, some of our moms, and our dads in as much as they'll hear what you say,
Yeah.
they'll never really listen to you.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess so, because they're like so stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, I also think that they don't realize what they're saying. They don't realize like this is instilled in them, you know, and this is something that they need to change. They need to change their mindsets about it. So a lot of the time, I don't blame them, because that's the way they were brought up, and that's just the way things are. Yeah, but it's because people don't pinpoint it out and don't tell them like, hey, you know, you're wrong. And so, yeah.
Okay, so you feel that a lot of your film works or what you end up creating should change the perception of what others should see about certain things. If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So you're hoping for a change. At the end of the day,
Yes.
you're hoping for a change. I'm bad. So, girl, tell us something. I want to know something.
Okay.
You see how our South African films are working, you know, how it's moving, how it's vibing. What do you think is happening within South Africa? There's something that feels a bit off, especially with how us as South Africans consume South African films. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so the South African film industry is definitely growing. Okay, it's come a long way from where we were. But the problem is South Africans are not interested in watching South African films. I don't know, do you watch South African films? Exactly. So, yeah, I think that's like our biggest problem. And I can say it stems from two things. There's more things that are a problem, but let me just talk about these two things. The first thing is that we don't have huge funding for marketing. So there's not like this big hype created around the film that's gonna make people want to go and watch it, you know? Like, if there was more money put into marketing, I think our films would do extremely more well than what it's doing right now. And and we don't have as many distribution channels as like America and stuff. So we're still growing. We're like a baby in this industry.
Little by little.
Yeah. And then another thing is, I feel like we tell the same stories over and over again. So it's the same themes of like gangsterism, abuse, apartheid, all of it. It's just the same things. And it is our unique perspective. It's our unique point of view and selling points. But I feel like we're not being creative enough about it. Yeah.
That's so true. Because now it's like you have, which I think is an amazing film, but you know, we have The Wife. But like everything that happens in The Wife, I'm pretty sure I saw it on Lotion Bioscope just last week. You know, like, and Lotion Bioscope has been there for so long. I think I've known it for like since I could remember watching anything on TV. So now it's like we have so many similar topics and themes, and it's very odd. I feel like that's also why me personally, I don't watch as many South African films, because there's so many of them that already exist that are all the same.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for a change there.
Yeah. Well, we need money. That's the thing. We need money. I mean, there's a lot of short films that are different.
That's true.
You know, and like I see it with student films and just upcoming filmmakers. But the problem is we don't have money. So we don't have that opportunity to make it a big thing. And then the movies that do become a big thing, those people have connections. And it's
all the same actors.
Yes. There's like a circle of people, and they all know each other, and they all do things together. And as if you try and get into that circle, it's really tough,
Yes, that is
especially
so
without
true.
money. So
That's so true.
yeah.
No, but now it's like, how do I explain it? In aside from the fact that we don't have money for marketing, I feel like we're also very much lacking on money for production. We'll have the most perfect backstory, the most beautiful story, but the actors are a bit off, or they're not giving the lines the way that they need to be given, and then they're gonna come back and say, yeah, no guys, we don't have the funds. So what do you think we can do aside from creating or like finding bigger funds or getting bigger funds to make it work better? If you understand my question.
Yeah.
Like what else can we do aside from finance?
What else can we do?
Because I'm sure if we have a little camera, if we have a good actor,
Yeah.
a good setting, we can make it work.
Yeah, no, we can't. No, I feel like, okay, people have made it work. You know, there are people out there who put their hearts and soul into a project, and they made it happen. But
Like marketing.
yes, but because they couldn't get it to big screens, it's very demotivating.
That's true.
And eventually it kind of just takes a back seat and stuff like that. So yeah, and we don't have a lot of, well, we do have funding available, but it's not a lot for like development or production and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess it's just, it depends on how hard you grind, I think.
Yeah, I think that's also why majority of our most amazing actors leave the country to work elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sorry. And also like, creatives are not taken seriously here.
Yes.
They're expected to keep on doing favors, and people don't want to do favors. They need to get paid.
Yes.
And yeah, people are not paid enough, especially in the creative industry here. Yeah.
What can we do? We're just fighting through demons and we're hoping for the best. No, we're fighting through things that aren't fair.
Yeah.
But do you feel like with your work, like, aren't you scared that no one will understand it or appreciate it, or, you know, be like, you know what, this is actually so dope? Aren't you scared that like people will criticize you? Because you're also coming after certain things and topics that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think, oh, that was a chair. So I think I'm not necessarily afraid of criticism, because that's gonna come with any kind of work that you produce. You're always gonna be critiqued. And I feel like because this topic is so like taboo, that makes me want to talk about it more. So yeah, I've got a big mouth, and so I'm not gonna keep quiet to people. I think I want to make them uncomfortable.
Final question: what do you feel you would like to change in your industry or the department that you're doing film in?
I feel like a lot of the time young people are underestimated. So I would let more young people be in charge.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yes.
That resonates with something that I recently just saw. Hold on, just give me a second. I apologize.
Okay.
Which is, youth without purpose is a dangerous possibility always. It down. Down. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.